Do you ever feel that when you're in front of the camera, it doesn't feel natural, it doesn't feel like it flows, or it feels a little bit uncomfortable? Well, that's the case for a lot of people, even though right now they seem like they're perfectly comfortable in front of the camera. My guest is Tony Whatley. He's built multiple seven-figure businesses, and a core piece of what he's doing now is creating consistent lead-generating content across the social media. And he actually had to learn how to do that over a long period of time. So if you're in that category, this episode is especially for you, and you're going to want to watch all the way to the end. I promise you, you won't regret it.
The Content Capitalist Podcast.
At what point did you start realizing, hey, if I put my face in front of a camera and put it on the internet, then this is good for business? Like, when did that start for you?
I started watching, some of the early influencers in the business space, like Gary Vee, we talked about him before, and, people doing different content variations early on in social media. And we start to see that Facebook started to favor live videos for one time. Remember, like someone would go live and everybody's like, oh, who's that? And you had to watch it because like nobody was doing it at the time. Right. And so,
or even knew that the feature existed. It was a new feature. So everybody had to check it out.
Oh, even then when it was rolling out a few years back, only certain people had it. Remember that? Yeah. Like they kind of weeded it in really
you were
slowly.
Special if you had it.
Yeah, exactly. So it wasn't easy for me, Ken. I understood the importance of it. I know that there's a lot of business owners that understand the importance of it and they should be doing it. And you and I tell them, and people in my community, I tell them you should be doing videos or content creation because it's not going away. It's only going to become more dominant as we go forward in technology. So I knew this stuff for years, but I didn't like to do it. I had insecurities about being on camera. I didn't like the way I sounded. I didn't like my voice. We all have that kind of hang up about ourselves. And I realized the importance of it. I said, hey, I have a mission to make. I'm trying to impact millions of people by giving them some good business advice and confidence. I need to be able to put myself out there. I got to lead by example. So I had stage fright. I didn't like standing on stages and stuff like that. Now I'm like a paid speaker to go do crazy stuff like that. So dude, it was a very uncomfortable way. And this was probably 2015, 2016. It's like I had to go do it. I had to go. So I joined a Toastmasters and I showed up every Monday night and I raised my hand and I participated and I just did videos every single day for 365 days. That's kind of also a throwback to the title. It's like, I'm just going to do a social media video every single day and improve and learn the public speaking skills that I was learning and just use those on the videos instead of on stages. And so that's what I did. And it kind of worked out because I sucked. Like everybody sucks at the beginning. And that's the problem is because most people know that they suck or they think that they're going to be better than they are. And then they realize that they do suck and they're like, oh man, this isn't for me. And repetitions, if you do it enough, it gets easier. You become more comfortable. You start to pick up better skills. You hire a public speaking coach if necessary. You join a Toastmasters. You do this content creation. You learn copywriting. We're actually speaking in copy and stories. And the best part about this, Ken, is that I knew that I sucked and I would take 10 takes. I would do these videos in my truck after work when I still had like a tie on because I was consulting. And I would record myself 10 different videos. And I was like, okay, this is the best one. Usually like the 6th or 7th one was like the best one. And I would just post it. I just always post one. And the thing is that people were watching this because they were curious because it's completely out of my norm. But over the period of just weeks, I started to improve and people started noticing that kind of stuff. Like, man, you're getting better. And I was like, oh, thanks, man. I feel like I'm getting a little more comfortable with this. And a couple months in, like, they're like, dude, like, so proud of you. Like, they're being inspired by you going on this journey of improving, like, in real time that I didn't count on. I was doing it because I just knew it was important. But I started to inspire and empower other people that believe that they could do it for themselves. And I said, well, let's push the record button. Let's do this. Yeah. Let's do this together. Let's go. Let's challenge each other.
Two main things that you're going to want to watch for in this next section. Number one is what equipment should you be using? I get asked this question almost every day. Should I be using my fancy DSLR camera, my webcam, my phone? What's the deal on that? We're going to hear directly from someone who's earning multiple seven figures off of his content on what his thoughts are.
This is something people literally always ask me is what camera and gear should I get? Now, I know that you probably started with whatever you had around you. Could you give some people an idea of what you started with when you recorded your first video and decided to put it out online? Or I think you said for you it was live, right? That's how you got started. What was your setup like?
I think you're safer with the phone, man. Everybody has that. Start with the phone because a lot of times people will invest in all the fancy gear, but they don't invest in the person with the microphone or the person that's looking in the camera. So, the analogy you and I used on our show was like guys racing cars. They'll throw a lot of money at horsepower and try to buy the most expensive car they can afford, thinking that they're going to win all these races at the racetrack, but they don't invest in the driver. Just like you have to invest in the speaker and the presence and the storytelling and the copywriting and just learning how to do the call to actions. Like, these are skills that most people just don't even know exist. Like, I see a lot of times people, I go to these different events I speak at, and people will just get up on the stage and they just bomb. They're just not very good at it, but they're very knowledgeable. They're very successful. They may be a multi-millionaire or a billionaire even sometimes, but they think that their success earns them the right to get on a stage. But what they fail to realize is that anytime we're on a camera or a microphone or a stage, we still have to be entertaining. We still have to be able to use our voice to carry the message and get it there the right way, and use humor and, punchlines and just different things that we use tactically to get the message across. Because no matter how good your message is, if you don't know how to deliver it, nobody's going to listen to it.
I once had a client and they were scheduled to have a shoot with me to create some marketing material. But what they said is, I'm in such a bad mood. I don't want to project that negative energy on camera. And I suggested to him, why don't we channel that negative energy and throw it at the camera and see what happens? Now, I'm not going to tell you my story, but Tony talks about how he can channel that energy in order to get people to really feel that raw emotion in such a way to get people to buy into your message. And also, here's the other thing that happens. You become a more believable version of a human being and not just a talking head. So let's hear his insights on it as well.
Could you tell me about any time where, when it comes, you created some content and you messed up and you're just like, I would not do that again. I wish I didn't do that. Was there anything like that ever happened to you?
Other than technical stuff like filming, being a rookie and like putting the backlighting behind you and you're too dark or something like that. But I'll say that the content that tends to go viral, the things that get shared, is when you start to speak with emotion. Okay. And that comes because you're very passionate about a subject, or you're irate about something. And that even for the podcast.
Give us an example of a time that you got irate on camera and it caught fire.
Yeah. I remember one time I was wrapping up at the gym. It was later at night. It was probably like 8, 9 o'clock. So I remember it was dark outside and it was raining and there was lightning in the background. And I got back to my car and I think I was reading some text. And this was about like 3 years ago when I was finally getting this business started. And I was just dealing with some like ex-friend drama, and they were just talking trash, like, like, what are you doing? And, why aren't you still like working in oil and gas? And like, like, are you sure this is what you want to do? And it kind of set me off. I was like, dude, like these people that you've gone on vacation with, people that you've known for 10, 15 years, like they're going to try to naysay you because their own comfort level, because they see you climbing out of the box that, they want you to fit in the box with them. And you're over there building a ladder in the corner. Like, what are you climbing out of this box with us? Like, we want you to be here with us. And I was just kind of like, man, I need to tell my audience this. Like, this is what I'm going through. And I was kind of just going off on this. It's like, dude, you guys had to expect that there's going to be people that try to naysay you and tell you like the basis of their own fear that it's scary, that you shouldn't be doing that, and like, I wouldn't do that if I was, I don't know. So I did that. I did it like on Instagram stories, and man, people were sharing it as like a video. They were like recording it and sharing it and tagging me in. And it's like, dude, that's when I realized like, you got to learn how to speak with emotion. And that's even like, you can hear it in my voice when I'm talking about it on a podcast, because I realized that, being on hundreds of podcasts, that even the people that have the knowledge or the name, if they can't share the story and speak with emotion in their voice, then it's not going to get a lot of views. It's not going to get a lot of downloads. The guests that have been on my show that got the most downloads, not always the most famous people. It's the people that can tell a compelling story with emotion in their voice. The speakers, when we go to a stage, we see something on stage, you used to hold your events. The ones that can take you on that emotional roller coaster and feel the lows and feel the highs and feel the achievement and get you like motivated, and your hair on your arm starts to raise. Like, those are the ones you remember, the emotional speakers. So video's the same way.
Hey guys, I'm really glad that you liked the video and that you're gonna hit the like button to help the algorithm to show it to more people so that more people can enjoy the same video just like you did. By the way, we do these every single week, new interviews, new millionaires, new tactics, and we also do these recaps. So again, hit the like button, show the algorithm that you like this and more people should like it too, and I'll see you in the next video.